we will be perfect in every aspect of the game. Remember the Titans is next. All right, we're here to break down one of the most inspirational football movies of all time. I got my boy CK here. I got Colin, CTR Hall with me. We're going to give you a quick rundown of what's coming. So we're going to hit the best scenes, hottest takes, and of course, pick apart what aged like fine wine and what aged like a 1971 football playbook. Quick facts about the movie. So Remember the Titans is a 2000 American sports drama film produced by Jerry Bruckheimer. Might have heard that guy. And a director who I cannot pronounce his fucking name. It is Boaz Yakin. I don't know. Main cast is Denzel, our boy. Will Patton. Nice. Sorry. Ryan Hurst, Wood Harris, and there's a couple others that you're going to recognize throughout the film. We'll get to them in a little bit. They play smaller roles, but big names these days. The film had a production budget of $30 million, grossed over $136.7 million worldwide, making it a significant box office success. Rotten Tomatoes had a pretty good score on this one. So critic score is 72%, audience score 93%. I'd say that's a banger. Now we're going to get into the time machine and look at some of the competition that year. So it came out same year as Gladiator, Castaway, Almost Famous, Unbreakable. Really a stacked year. Didn't win any of the big awards, but did get some love in some of the smaller award shows. Why did this movie hit differently?
Well, I guess it hit differently because it hits a nerve, which I think is in the back of everyone's mind, especially this time in America, which is integrating races, and football is one of the best ways to do that. So I think that answers the question.
Well said.
Yeah.
Honest to God. So, yeah, I mean, I think this movie is fucking awesome. It came out at the right time. It still hits today. We'll talk about that in a little bit, too. It's just, for those that aren't aware of the plot, you've been living under a fucking rock. But we're profiling, this is a movie based on a true story, profiling a T.C. Williams high school football team that 1971 integrated blacks and whites, and the whole town kind of came together as a result of this football team whipping ass up and down the football field. Plenty of limited research, man. Got a lot on our plate here. So let's talk about some of the actors, where they were before Remember the Titans. Did I just say Member the Titans?
Remember?
Denzel playing Coach Herman Boone. All right, so by 2000, Denzel's already an Oscar winner. He's in Glory. He's got a couple other major films like Malcolm X, Philadelphia, The Hurricane. I mean, he's Hollywood royalty at this point, and Remember the Titans is really just kind of a notch in his legendary filmography. Will Patton plays Coach Bill Yost, known as a reliable character actor. Patton's been in Armageddon, The Postman before this, Gone in 60 Seconds came out the same year. He often plays supporting roles in action and drama films, and Titans kind of cemented him as a go-to mentor, father figure character. You got Wood Harris playing Julius Campbell, and you probably don't know that name very well, but you will know him for his role after this movie. Before this, he's in a couple of things, but nothing that's noteworthy. And after this, he gets one of the lead roles in one of the greatest TV shows ever made, The Wire. He is Avon Barksdale. In addition to that, you get Ryan Hurst playing Gary Bertia. And before Titans, he had a couple of small roles in Saving Private Ryan. Kennedy, this is your deaf guy. So he's in Saving Private Ryan. He's in Patch Adams. His real breakthrough role comes later. He's a fan favorite in Sons of Anarchy.
Walking Dead, too.
FX show, Walking Dead.
You don't ever see his
Wait,
face.
Colin, can you do that? I can't hear you.
I lost my hearing to it. I don't know. I did it the first time.
I can't
hear. Grenade went off in my right ear. I can't hear you.
We got Donald Faison playing Petey Jones. You might know him after this for playing Turk in Scrubs. Before this, he's in Clueless and a couple of TV series. But
Big Fat Liar, too. If anybody knows that movie.
Big Fat Liar?
Yeah, kids movie in the 2000s.
Oh, I remember.
He was in that.
Cody Banks. Oh wait, no, same guy.
Same Frankie Muniz.
Same guy.
Unbelievable. Cody Banks.
Well, Cody, he played Cody Banks.
Yeah, it's not just a Jack Harlow song. It's a real guy.
And a fan favorite, we got Ryan Gosling playing Alan Bosley. Alan sucks in this movie. He's a fucking horrible football player, but Gosling is fairly known to this point. He's really only been in Mickey Mouse Club and a few TV movies. I'm sure they're Disney movies. But Remember the Titans is his first significant film role. And 4 years later, he becomes known as that fucking heartthrob that you know and love in The Notebook, and kind of reinvents himself as a more serious actor in movies like Drive, La La Land, Barbie, The Gray Man.
Beats that one guy.
Oh,
fucking death in that one movie.
which one?
I think it's Drive. He just like kicks a guy to death.
There's another one
That's-
he's in. It's called In the Woods or something like that, which is really good. But The Fall Guy, new movie with him, is awesome.
Well, he's a jacked beast the last decade. He is a fucking nerd city in this.
He's a
movie.
noodle.
Hasn't had a carb since 08.
No, and it looks like it. So, who had the best career after this film? I mean, I think this is undeniable. It's got to be our boy Gosling.
Yeah, Gosling.
The
Could
lady.
argue Denzel.
Well, let's talk about it.
Right.
Well, Denzel after this gets Training Day the next year, wins another Oscar for that. God bless him. Man on Fire, American Gangster,
Okay.
Equalizer series. I mean, I could just go on. These are
Man on
all
Fire
on
is-
this list. So we're going to be talking about these.
Man on Fire is Tier 1X.
Tier 1 XYZ.
It's fucking awesome. All right. Gosling's glow up is undeniable. He goes from playing some small supporting role to being a fucking A-lister. Wood Harris.
Woody
not to be
Harrelson?
confused with Woody Harrelson, who's a fucking beast. Wood Harris and Ryan Hurst both become kind of cult TV legends. That's Julius and Bertia in this movie. Bertier. That's not what
Yeah,
Do you think it's
say it.
Bertier or Bertier? I was a Bertier. I was a Bertier back in San Antonio. Unbelievable. Donald Faison has massive success with Scrubs, and Will Patton's
Oh, yeah, he was in Scrubs.
yeah, buddy, he's in.
Who's the co-star he works with in Scrubs that you see on every freaking commercial?
Never know his name.
Actually, can't stand them because they're always on.
It's Zach Braff.
Okay.
That's the guy.
And dude, by the way, Zach Braff is just like a Chad name. Like that's
Yes.
the most white guy Braff.
Zach Braff.
100% Chad name. So, I mean, winner in this category has got to be Gosling.
Yes.
I mean, Denzel's obviously like a
Well,
pretty
Denzel could win everything.
Denzel's
And
already made man before this.
yeah.
True.
So let's get into a little bit of alternate casting what ifs, if you will. Denzel was always the first choice to play Coach Boone, but if he had turned it down, the studio might have gone with somebody like Samuel L. Jackson or Morgan Freeman.
Yes.
Get on the line.
Say what again? Get on the line, motherfucker.
Every Shane impression turns into fucking Pacino. Get on the line.
Well, I love my Pacino, but he squeaks out every so often. Another one that was rumored to be Coach Yost was our boy Bruce Willis, but Will Patton got the role instead. Willis, like I said, we talked about this a little bit before the podcast for the audience. Willis in that role, I just don't see it. I don't see it.
I'm the one here that disagrees with you guys. So we're not, I mean, like we talked about it. I think Willis could have pulled it off. I think he would have stolen the shit, not stolen it from Denzel, but he is a little bit too big of a star for the role.
Yeah, it would have been too much clash. Yost played a really good submissive
Yeah.
role, so I just don't see Willis being so submissive to where it would work out nicely.
I don't see Willis's doing very well.
He's got like a tough guy role and everything, so and Denzel already does that. So, like we talked about earlier, it would be bad cop, bad cop. It's just
It's like putting Schwarzenegger and Stallone together. They're just going to clash.
and then you have The Rock as
I do think Willis could have done it, though. This guy's a better choice. I don't necessarily agree with you guys that it would have been bad with Willis. I think he could have pulled it off.
Okay, well, you're wrong. Next, we got Ethan Suplee's character,
No replacement possible.
Louis Lastic. What a fucking name, too. But
Mm,
do you think he's based on a real character?
I'm trying to think. Could you replace him? Is there anybody that fat?
Well, funny you should mention that because could it have been played by somebody like Seth Rogen or Jack Black?
Not as fat. Maybe Jack Black because he's a Disney man.
Okay.
He can kind of pull up anything. But
Black, again, same thing as Willis. Too big of a star. Too overplayed. Also, not necessarily an athlete. He's athletic. He can move around.
He is the Kung Fu Panda.
He's not big enough for this role either.
let's be honest,
He's pretty
Suplee's
short.
not athletic.
Huh?
Suplee's not athletic.
But he's fat enough to where you can just put him at center or whatever. What position did he play?
Obviously, line.
What do you think? He's a quarterback?
He was running back.
I was just wondering if he was center. Who was the center?
I don't know. I don't even think they ever showed him.
Pitch me the ball, coach.
I don't know. Like, oh, you know what? The guy from The Replacements who ate the raw eggs, that guy maybe could have done it, the big sumo guy, but I don't know anybody else as big as Suplee.
That's a big boy.
And big and white and blonde like that. Like, he looks like.
Jack Black would be funny, but Suplee was perfect.
So if the movie's made today, do you got any casting swaps?
Jonah Hill
For the fat guy?
for the fat guy.
He's not fat anymore,
when
though.
he was fat.
Okay, if we're making it a comedy, Jonah Hill for sure.
No, because Jonah can do it all.
Maybe Tracy Morgan, since you brought him up as Denzel.
God, dude. That's comedy.
So,
And Jim Carrey is that.
I'm going through these rabbit holes and see Denzel's son, potentially, as Coach Boone, Bryan Cranston or Matt McConaughey as Coach Yost, Michael B. Jordan as Julius Campbell. Maybe he's got a better run. Oh, my God.
Wait,
I'm
who's
gonna talk to you about
Denzel's
this
son?
run. John David Washington.
Can we? Okay, how
You pull
about
him up.
Robert Downey Jr. in blackface as the head coach? I was associated down in San Antonio before I became a football coach, boys.
Get on the line now.
Motherfucker. Samuel L. as Patton. Samuel L. in whiteface as Patton. And
Oh, my God. That's just a great comedy. Would the movie work better with a different actor in any role? It's kind of hard to imagine anyone else in the key roles. So, we kind of talked a little bit about Bruce Willis, but would Kevin Costner have been a good choice for this?
for the secondary coach?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
perfect.
Actually,
Perfect.
that's the best thing you've said. He would fit in
Wait,
perfectly.
who am I thinking of? I'm sorry. Kevin Costner.
Are you thinking of Billy Bob Thornton?
He'd be good too.
Well, he's in the best movie ever.
Kevin Costner would be great. There's another guy,
He's in Remember the Titans 2.
Dennis Quaid. That's who I was thinking.
Oh, Dennis Quaid could be.
For some reason, I always mix them up in my head.
No
they're
doubt.
they're not alike at all. But as the secondary coach, or what was he, like defensive coach, coordinator?
Yeah, defensive coach.
Dennis Quaid would be great.
That's a good choice. I like that. What about our boy Al Pacino?
Get on the line, Shane. Can you give us one, please?
You just worry about your offense, coach.
Well, what role would he play? Because he's not an assistant.
He's in Any Given Sunday.
Yeah, so he's played coaches.
It's a game of inches. It's like the most famous.
It's a
speech.
very famous speech that he used. So I'm gonna say he could have played it. Well, let's
just never hire him for a role.
if a bigger name had played Julius or Bertier, do you think that helps or hurts the film? You got to think this is made in 2000, so I mean I can't even think of anybody back then that would have been
the
able to.
linebacker from The Replacements.
John Favreau?
He could have been Bertier.
Yeah. And he could
John
actually do
Favreau
Terrence
was-
pretty well.
He was in Replacements.
He was also in The Breakup. He's the best friend.
Well, he
Yeah, no,
produces all-
I know who he is.
He's like
Dude.
the main dude that produces all these big hits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does Star Wars now. I think.
Different movie, I think. I think he's probably a little older. But most of these guys are like 27.
Rock?
They're playing 17-year-olds.
The Rock could have been in it.
good.
Yeah, I mean, he could have.
He might have been too old.
I think it would have been too many eyebrow raises.
Yeah. You might just want him to. He'd be too good.
Well,
That little dude that was in what's the movie Longest Yard? The funny little Latino guy. He could have been a little side character in it.
he could have been a side. Would Gosling have been better as Sunshine instead of Alan Bosley?
Yes, but they didn't know how good he was yet.
Sunshine, you mean, or Gosling?
No, Gosling. But I will say this: maybe not. Sunshine's body is more built up to be believable as a star. Gosling in this, he actually has a tiny little beer belly, tiny arms. He's not the guy he is now.
No, not even.
I don't know
close.
if it would have been as believable. This guy Sunshine's like a well-built kid.
No, he's solid. So let's go into best scenes from the movie. So I got a couple on my list. I'm going to start with we could go sequentially if you guys want to, or we can just go with what's on the top of our brain. I'm going to say the Gettysburg speech and just that whole scene, taking these guys at 3 a.m., waking them up from the dorms and getting their ass out and running God knows how far they had to run to Gettysburg battlegrounds. And Denzel giving a speech about a lot of people dying so that we could be here. And this is, there are things that are bigger in life than football, but you got an opportunity to do something special.
I agree. I like that one, but for me, it was a smaller scene, and it was character development. So Gosling starts out as more prejudiced. He's kind of more in the little white circle, and at the end, in the championship game, he tells Petey to go in for him, and they have a huge hug, and I got the chills because you see that Gosling finally changed, and he's like, no, I want to look out for him. And he rode the bench so he could play. And it was like, he said he's better than him. Yeah. And it was like, it just gave me the chills.
Well, it's like one of the, not the first time, but it just shows like most high school kids don't have that kind of awareness. But this kid was like, look, I can't cover this kid. And Petey can. Get him in. We're here to win, and we got to do the best thing for the team. And I think that's what resonates from that scene. I love the beginning of this, Coach Boone walking in and giving the "We will be perfect" speech. We will be perfect in every aspect of the game, and just getting all their attention. It's all the black kids at first, then the white kids come in. The white kids think they're going to run stuff, and Denzel lays down the fucking law right then and there that, nope, this is not a democracy. This is a dictatorship.
Yep. That's my actual favorite scene of the whole movie. It's the very beginning when he does that. 'Cause he walks into the room with his head bobbing, and he's got a strut, and they're all giggling and stuff, and he's like, no, yes, sir. That's what I heard. Yes, sir.
What are you smiling for? You think it's fun?
Yeah.
Football's fun. It's not fun anymore.
It's not
fun now, is it?
You will be on the bus at 7:29. 7:30, you're not there. We're gone. You go home. And it's just like,
you will not be playing football for this thing. You will be watching.
That's what it was. You will be watching.
Really smart move to get everybody out of the buses, split them up as offense, defense.
No doubt.
And then you're with this guy for the whole camp. You're stuck with them.
Love that.
And like, we're old now. We've been through like sports and stuff. That would suck in the moment, but you need that adult perspective to be like, that's what they need. You're not going to, after the 4 weeks, whatever, you're going to be best friends with this guy.
You gotta be comfortable getting uncomfortable. And you hear that all the time in sports, but it's also translates to a lot of shit in life, because usually the stuff that you don't want to do is the hard stuff, and that's the stuff that's going to make you a better person. and him setting the tone with that was great. I loved Bertier coming up to him in the beginning and being like, "All right, so here's the deal. I'm the captain, and this is how we're gonna run things." And Denzel shutting it down in front of all of the parents, making a big mockery out of this dude. Get on the fucking bus. Yeah, love that. Love the dance scene. Fun moment where they're all dancing together. They finally get some of the white guys to get in there and dance with the black guys. Just good, awesome. Anybody that's been in a locker room at any point in their life, having the guys get together. I mean, there's just nothing like it. That stuff is more fun than any game that you end up playing. It's the locker room vibes. I love that scene.
That's the one thing I'll say football gave me that no other sport gave me, is although it's not to this scale, there was always still a little weirdness between white and black. But in football, in high school, even before that, Pee Wee and stuff, Pop Warner, you do break that boundary and you become friends. And it's like no other outlet could create that feeling. And I think it happens to anybody who plays football just because it is such a mixed sport. Same basketball, not even as much. Football is like the only sport where it's really like truly mixed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that's pretty accurate.
It feels good when you get that experience.
Any other best scenes? Because of course we got the final play, which is, I don't know if that happens in real life. I mean, that's pretty fucking comical. I had to sit there and watch fucking Julius chase a guy down with the most ridiculous robotic run I've ever seen to strip the ball. They get the ball back, and then they run this reverse with 10 or 12 seconds left on the clock to Rev, and runs it in, and you got Sunshine blasting people into the next galaxy on the way.
There's a scene in here in that game, and I'm not kidding. It's after halftime, and Coach Patton's like, "It's the soul of a man. That's what I learned." And it's like, all right, well, this is kind of. They go out and they're all pumped up. Every single hit was the same exact one. It looked like the same exact dummy was getting clotheslined. It was only clotheslines, and it was about 10 of them in a row. I couldn't believe it.
You think it was actually a dummy and not a person?
If it was a person, this is what they did. They clipped the scene, and they just re-clipped it into the next one.
They had to.
It was the same hit over and over.
There was more decleating in this movie than I've ever seen in my life. And I've been a part of several decleats over my time, but every single game there was like 10 of them where I'm like, who the fuck is the stunt guy that is?
Are you saying like you get hit so hard that your cleats come off?
I'm saying,
or is that just a figure of speech?
I'm saying, no, well, yeah, basically decleating is not that your cleats come off, but your cleats leave the
just
earth.
leave the earth. Okay.
And
not they fly off for real.
Oh, yeah. Bro. There are so many scenes in this movie, football scenes, where these dudes are just getting absolutely blasted into the next life.
Acrobatics, like 4 or 5, 6 feet in the air.
You just don't see that in football, but you could better fucking believe I watched that before football games. And I was like, yes, I'm doing that. That looks awesome.
It does happen on crackback.
Well, it certainly does. Every now and again, but they made it seem like every play somebody is getting just basted.
While we're on the scenes, strong side, left side.
Left side strong. That's a great one.
Yeah, because you've got the scene. I don't know if it's right before, but they have that argument where he's like, "I think you're a waste of God-given talent," and he's like, "Why don't you block for the black players?" So then they're at the practice where they go all night, and then what's the white dude's name? The main guy. Bertier. I always want to say Brashear because I knew a guy that had the last name Brashear. Bertier. He like yells at another white dude for not blocking, and he's like, "You don't block, I'm gonna hit you so hard, boy. Ooh, when you wake up, you're gonna need a new haircut."
That was like funny because in your head you don't want to accept that as good trash talk, but then you're kind of like, I like it a little bit.
He blacked it up a little bit.
He did.
But and then so you got him, and then he's like the leader of the whites, and then you got Julius, that's his name, right?
Yep.
Leader of the Blacks, and they finally, now that these two are together, everyone's like, I guess we're all together now, because if they're leading the charge, then now they're all boys. So
100%.
I got chills during that when they're like just going yelling at each other.
Well, and that's a movie doing its job.
Mhm.
It's like it's supposed to make you feel something, and they did an awesome job with it. You know, I like the scenes with the kids. I think Coach Yost's daughter, Hayden Panettiere, does an awesome job in her role of just being a nut job football nerd. Yeah, every kid's got their own like thing that they're into, but she's like almost autistic for football, which is fucking hysterical. So I love that stuff and how into it she was.
Yeah, she inspires radio after this, right?
Maybe. That's a good point. Maybe.
Radio comes out like right after this.
Any other best scenes?
Is Radio the one dude that's in this movie?
No.
Or no, it's Cuba Gooding. It's Cuba.
Yeah.
I get that. Okay, so I get those two mixed up too. I always
Denzel and Cuba.
no Cuba. It's Cuba and what's his name? I just had it pulled up.
Donald
Faison, yeah.
There
Cuba.
is a well, I'll get to this and what age the worst. But best lines from the movie. I got a couple of them that really stood out. Attitude reflects leadership. Captain, love that one.
There's no way anyone's ever said that in high school. That is way too.
That's way too
sophisticated.
Deep for a high school kid, but it's fucking awesome. Naturally, Coach Yost, you make sure they remember forever the night they played Titans.
Yeah.
Oh God, it gives me chills even saying it. The dude, you know, this is for context. During the game, they're getting flagged on every little thing. The refs are clearly trying to like game it for the other team, and they said, "All right, huddle up, call a timeout."
This is the part right after that gives me the chills. All the like, Denzel goes out and he's like, "Another? Are you kidding me? That's not even a flag." And the refs are like, "Another flag."
Another 15.
And then Hayden Panettiere starts yelling, and then you hear like one of the black fans in there like, "Come on, coach!" And then Patton walks out and he looks at the ref and he goes, "I know what you got going on here, and guess what? I'm gonna write to the papers and I'm gonna tell them everything, and I don't care if I go down for it. You call a game or I'm going to the papers." And the ref's like, "You're gonna get buried for this." He's like, "Good."
Yeah. Why did he say, "I don't care if I go down with you"? What did he do wrong?
Because the refs were getting paid to play off the game. So if he goes to the papers, they're just gonna make his life hell in their white evil way.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Good, do it."
Yeah. So Coach Yost is in line to be in like the local football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's another like sub story throughout this movie, is that he was the head coach of this team, and then when they integrated, they made Denzel the head coach, and so he had to take a back seat, which was a whole other saga for him because he's been a head coach for so long and was in line to get Hall of Fame. And so it's just one of these white black.
They have high school Hall of Fame for coaches.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or just in the school.
No, not the school, like the local Hall of Fame. Like, I mean, even Anne Arundel County has Hall of Fame for athletics.
Well, yeah, I know my mom's in Hall of Fame for track at Old Mill, but I think it was at Old Mill.
Gotcha.
I don't know if it was like
There might be
county.
There is county.
Might have
There's
been county.
That's probably what it is.
So, yeah, let's get into what age the best, unless you guys have any other quotes that you loved.
I said mine too.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Hit you so hard, you're gonna need a new haircut. You're gonna need a hood. Yeah.
So, what age the best? Obviously, Denzel effect. Fucking awesome.
Ryan Gosling.
Gosling. I mean, it's unbelievable to look at him in this movie and be like, "Holy shit, that's Ryan Gosling."
Yeah, he's a little dweeb.
Because he's 100% just a little dweeb, but baby boy grew up.
Yeah. Well,
I love the Tom Segura take on Ryan Gosling. He's like, he's just a normal guy. Like he's not bad looking, but like he thinks he like because his wife Christina on YMH, she's like obsessed with him.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, I mean, he's like a good looking.
great looking.
He's a good looking guy. He's not the 10. He's just a guy you'd see at like a Macy's or something.
I love the soundtrack, man. Soundtrack was great. So
Yeah.
it's fitting for the time. Obviously, they did a good job with that. But it's just good stuff, man.
So we got Ain't No Mountain High, Marvin Gaye, Peace Train, Cat Stevens, Long Cool Woman, The Hollies, Up Around the Bend, Creedence Clearwater,
Yeah, a lot of CCR.
Spirit in the Sky,
Temptation.
I don't see the Temptations one on here, but it's definitely in there.
Yeah.
I'm Gonna Take You Higher, Spill the Wine.
The soundtrack is awesome. It's just, it's
There we go.
so good. What age the worst for me? It's not necessarily the football scenes. It's just, we kind of talked about it a little bit. It is the football scenes in some sense because it's overly done. And I've just never seen that many bodies fly across the screen in my entire life.
Yeah.
It's like a Hall family, like wet dream of a
Yeah, it's too many. What age the worst? I don't know. Not much, only because this is still a theme that would play well today. Although there's no like segregation happening, there is such racial tension that a
Yeah.
movie like this today in a different
We need it actually. I would say we need it.
it's
Another
still
one.
relevant. I think the movie actually aged
I think it's aged pretty well.
like yeah, it brings you together. It gives you the chills whether you're black or white. This movie's awesome.
Yeah, well, it's just about like the whole underlying thing is coming together at times to strive to work towards a common. So, do we have any hot takes?
Um,
Do you think this is a top tier sports movie?
yeah.
Yes.
Not as far as the gameplay, but as
No.
far as the
But are any?
Friday Night Lights is actually
Yeah, well, that's number one probably,
that's
right?
the
Would you
only
guys say
one
it's
I've
number
seen
one?
that's actually realistic. And not even realistic.
I mean, Replacements is like,
That's the one with Joe Falco.
yeah, that's
Or-
they got a kicker.
Keanu and
Shane Falco.
That's a great
is
movie.
Out there just stoned the whole time, basically, and then you have the kicker smoking a cigarette during the game. I mean, it's a guy.
Do you guys have a top 5 of sports movies? Remember Friday Night Lights probably your number
Coach Carter.
one.
Well, it depends on what you want to do, because there are plenty of sports movies like this that are about the game itself and the storylines of the players, but then there's other ones like Moneyball that
Yeah.
are
True.
like
Well, a lot of people
sports
online,
oriented, but it's not really about the players so much. It's the system, I guess.
every comment on YouTube about if you're watching clips of this is like, yeah, you know what? This isn't really even about football. And like they go and explain what they think it means. But like every top comment is this movie's not even about football. It's about building family.
It's about football too.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if I agree with them, but
It is about football, but it's like what I said earlier.
it's not just about football. It's about
It's one
family.
of those games that can truly build like teamwork quicker than other games could, just because it is in nature a violent sport where you have to get grimy and sweaty on each other, and you have to do 2-a-days, and you have to go board at some college for training camp, and you have to bunk together. It's just like
Those, yeah,
nothing like it.
it's you bond in that way with people. Like guys need that.
Yeah.
And then like even in lacrosse, I always wished that it was more like football because like people would shy away from more contact. Like, no, we want that aggressiveness. And the teams that lean into it were always the hardest to play.
Yeah.
But football's a very primal sport, and I think when you break down the game, schematically, it's obviously changed a lot over the years, but the general purpose of it is to like get you ready for war.
Mm-hmm.
which
That's what they
sounds
invented it
ridiculous
for,
as somebody
right?
who's never been in the military, and obviously it's very different. But it's probably the closest thing that we have to that. That's without going into the military, and
Yeah.
it's very.
Well, you could
It's
argue
physically
like
demanding.
combat sports,
Yeah, that's true.
but
But it's not
that's
really teamwork.
a combat.
Combat's not teamwork.
Not once you're in there, no. The training, but I will say the training aspect of like rolling with people,
Mhm.
it's the same kind of bond.
Oh, you
yeah.
do.
But-
Like when we even did those 2 days doing BJJ, you're with a guy that you don't know at all, and by the end of it, you're like, "Hey, have a good night,
This-
man."
What's what I love about like it's you start off, you feel awkward. You're like, dude, I'm literally like wrapping my legs around this guy. I don't even know him. And then at the end, you're laughing with him, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's great.
It's the physical contact that really brings people
Yeah.
together, which is why lacrosse like can't really be that because you slashed
Well,
me.
I think it could have been.
It
It used to
could have
be,
But-
but
I mean, we'll,
it still is to an extent. It's just not as much as football.
Mhm.
no.
I don't want to
exactly.
completely shit
Exactly.
on it.
Basketball, not really. You can't like. I mean, you can, but it's just it's the contact.
Yeah.
So let's get into the awards and superlatives. Excuse me. Let's start off at the top. MVP. Who's the most valuable performer in this?
Should we just not say Denzel?
like,
I mean,
don't
it's
say-
Denzel's to lose. Obviously.
Let's pick someone other than Denzel.
Yeah,
Like
that's too
If you
obvious.
had to pick somebody other than Denzel, who you going with?
maybe Bashir. Or honestly, I would say if we're doing this like high school awards, unsung hero would be Suplee.
Oh, no doubt. No
He's a,
doubt.
he's a really great addition, but not the MVP.
It's Denzel. It's Denzel. We'll put that.
Yeah.
Let's go. Best supporting role. Who stole the most scenes?
Mine is Julius. He makes it real for me. He seems and acts like a real black man.
Mm.
Like he makes it legit. It couldn't have been anybody else. Like I think it's him.
I don't think so. I think it's pretty. He does a really, really good job of this role. Sorry, I'm gonna pause
Dude,
because
it
I'm
hits.
watching these guys get fucking 180. Just absolutely helicoptered.
The other thing is,
I won't-
the really racist guy who gets kicked off the team, he's got to be 43, 44.
Oh, yeah.
Ray.
Dude,
Rashir's
he's got gray hair.
Well,
I
it
keep
turns out
saying
Ray's not
his
even a
best
real
friend at
character.
the beginning.
Bertier.
So they just put
Bertier,
Ray
yeah.
for the movie. Julius. All right. I gotta go with for me it's either Julius or Coach Yost. I think Coach Yost does a really good job trying to you can see him kind of transform
Yeah.
throughout the movie. I mean same thing with most of these guys. They really find common ground and but I think he does a nice job kind of piecing all. He's like he's the best adult supporting role in
Mhm.
this. I think he does an awesome job with that. I think Julius is probably the best supporting role for one of the athletes.
Yeah.
Kids. Best overacting moment. Who went for it the hardest? I know who I got on this.
For me, it's Yost trying to give a pump up speech.
Agreed.
I'm sorry, dude. I know
Agreed.
It gave you
It
the
was-
chills. He gives me the GBs.
It's him trying to live up to Denzel. It's like
You
just
can't.
don't.
Just be quiet
Yeah.
and let them go out and play, and
Yeah.
then be the calm voice of reason with the creepy white devil outside.
Yeah.
He does a
Instead of
great job
trying to
with that.
match Denzel,
Yeah.
you're never gonna do it.
I'm gonna go with Big Louie when he fucking stands up in the cafeteria
Mm-hmm.
and has, sir, Reverend is my roommate, sir. It
Yeah.
goes through this entire thing and starts singing his songs and stuff. It was over the top, and I loved it. But yeah,
He sings in
those
American History X too,
Yeah, well,
but that's a crazy song.
Oh yeah, when he's in the truck. Yeah.
he goes for it the
He-
hardest for me.
Yeah, if you look at this, I said this to Colin. If you look at this, American History X is like him after high school. It's like he really did not listen to any of the stuff learned in this movie.
Funniest moment, either unintentionally or intentionally hilarious.
Well, aside from all the crazy 180 flip hits, I guess funniest moment for me that made me like actually chuckle to myself is when it's not everybody's favorite scene, but when Sunshine's in the bathroom fixing his hair and they all make fun of him,
Mm-hmm.
he daps him off. That
Yeah.
part
I love that. I love it. Most unrealistic football play. I'm telling you right now, I already said it. Fucking Julia's running robotically.
Yeah, I don't think he's much of a real athlete.
I don't think so either. He looks the part, but watching that run and having him chase a guy down 30 yards down the field and strip him, I don't see that happen.
Dude, even their practices, like their hits, and even Bertier, like running and trying to hit, it's painful to watch as a real football player, amateur football player.
Kennedy, you got anything?
Just the helicopter hits.
The helicopter
Yes.
hits. Best needle drop. Which song in the soundtrack still bangs? I love this soundtrack. So,
I mean,
Express yourself, maybe.
Ain't No Mountain High. I mean, that just hits. Anytime I hear it and I'm not playing it myself, I can't not sing it.
No, you got
true.
every time. So we talked about this a little bit. Where does the movie stand today? Does it still resonate? Does it still hit? I say yes. I mean, I think it's undeniably well produced. It's a great story. We're going to get into like the actual story that this is based on and see what from it is true, what from it is made for the big screen. But I would say absolutely it still resonates. Where does it rank in sports movie history? Kennedy, you kind of asked that earlier. I'm going to give it I'm going to say it's in the top 5 of sports movies. There's been a pretty good amount of football movies. I think Friday Night Lights is at the top.
Sandlot.
Well, you got Sandlot. You got
Didn't think about that.
Bull Durham. You got these. There's a good amount of baseball movies. Field of Dreams.
Does Dodgeball count as a sports movie?
What's the Michael Jordan one?
Space Jam.
Space Jam is one of my favorites ever.
Space Jam's great.
Okay, and then here's the other thing.
Mike,
You're going to consider boxing movies, fight movies?
Oh, yeah. Boxing's a good movie.
You got The Fighter, you got Rocky. I mean, Rocky, dude.
I would go the Jake
Warrior.
Gyllenhaal one.
Which one?
Oh, you like Southpaw?
Southpaw was amazing.
My favorite fight movie is Warrior, even though it's so corny.
You like that one too, right?
I love Warrior, but UFC guys fucking hate that because it's impossible. Like, you're not fighting 6 dudes.
They should have just made it like, just change the plot to being they're on different days. They're not all on the same day. But
it would make a ton of sense.
Easy plot thing.
Oh, I got one. Who's the guy, Van something, and he was in that movie. His older dad would make us watch it. Van Damme.
Oh, Bloodsport.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. I never saw that.
Bloodsport, Kickboxer, Chung Lee. Great movie.
I'm sure there's some Bruce Lee movies.
I would say Longest Yard is in my top 5. I love that. Well, he makes himself the best. No, he's a good basketball player for sure.
I could see him being weirdly good at it.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's coming out with Jim Carrey, $800 million deal with Netflix, which sounds like almost $1 billion, which is crazy.
Wow.
Because it is. They're doing a show together.
No.
That's awesome.
I can't, dude. But Netflix has been on top of it as far as getting somebody that was popular 30 years ago and 20 years ago. We're just going to reboot that.
Yep.
I mean, look at the Eddie Murphy stuff, and he's getting a documentary on there. Like that, if you were popular in the 90s and the early 2000s, you're getting a fucking Netflix deal.
Sandler and Carey together.
That's awesome.
Dude.
What's
better than
remains to be seen. So let's get into poking holes, trivia, and we'll get our final verdict and score this thing. Biggest plot holes or inconsistency is a couple of questions that came up for me. Did they really turn it around that fast?
Yeah, who knows? If you do a little back research, I bet you would see that it didn't. It maybe turned around for the football team during the season, but once coach isn't there, I bet you guys kind of went back to what they were.
That's usually how it goes. I mean, you're in the moment, and then you kind of, once you stray away from it, you kind of revert back to whatever your base is.
Go back to your house. Cops are still treating you like shit.
Yep.
You go back to your group.
No doubt. So let's get into some trivia, some lesser facts. So, like, any movie that's not a documentary and it's going to be based on a true story, it strays away from the actual events that occurred on a lot of occasions, and that's no stranger to this one too. So Alexandria City Schools were actually desegregated in 1959, and T.C. Williams was created by merging 3 racially integrated schools. The Titans were second ranked in the nation by the end of that 1971 season.
Damn.
They finished 13-0. However, despite the movie showing multiple close games, most games were actually blowouts. 9 of their 13 wins were shutouts.
And
So-
that comes back to the Shane Gillis thing you're going to bring.
Oh, well, yeah, you want to really bring a town together, you just get a fucking good football team.
Yeah.
That'll bring everybody together. You'd be like, you know what? Team's fucking killing right
Yeah,
now.
his joke is like, oh, we can't have the black guys playing, and they win 44-0, and they're like, well, hold on.
Hold on now.
This
I kinda
actually
like these
is.
guys.
Hey, y'all.
Hang on now.
So in the film, Coach Boone states, "We're not like the other schools in this conference. They're all white. They don't have to worry about race. We do." This is false. All the schools that the Titans faced were integrated years before. Another fun fact, Ronnie Sunshine Bass was far from being the only one with long hair at that time. Even Gary Bertier had long hair. Wouldn't be able to know that.
He
from the
looked
movie.
like a stud. Like, you know how Bertier's ugly in this movie? The real Bertier is a stud.
And in interviews, Bass said, "I'll say for the record that my hair was never really that long."
It was long.
But he does say that he also says that the kiss with Jerry never happened. Or
T. Jones.
Yeah.
Sunshine goes on to play QB at South Carolina. Go Cox! How about that?
Nice. What position was he again?
Quarterback.
Sunshine.
Come on, baby.
You know what ticks me off is they call Trevor Lawrence Sunshine, and it's like,
He ain't the real Sunshine.
Not half as fancy as this guy. The real Sunshine, no homo, great looking guy, and now he runs a broadcast.
Oh,
The real Sunshine from Remember the Titans.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, the real Sunshine was a beat.
Yeah, great looking. Wow.
Dude, isn't that
Great.
crazy? So you guys ever think of this? You see a guy like that, but you didn't know he pulled that.
oh, no doubt about it. That's what happens, man. Life gets in the way.
Well, and this generation, they didn't they're not doing TRT. They're not hitting the gym. They just let it go.
Yeah, they let it go. It's like, all right, I'm home. Crack that fucking beer
Dude, but the
open.
guy on the left, how'd your girl?
How'd your girl? How'd your wife?
How'd your kids?
How'd your kids?
Best video ever.
Because they raping everybody up in here.
So another thing, Ray in the movie didn't actually exist in real life.
Wait, which one was Ray?
He's the asshole friend that.
Oh,
Wait, did he
Gary
go to the
kicks off
NFL?
team.
Real Sunshine? Oh no, this is never mind. Sorry, they did a comparison to Sunshine.
Ray didn't exist in real life. The Titans players said if he did, he would have been cut at training camp. The climax of the film, pause, is a fictionalized 1971 AAA state championship football game between T.C. Williams and George C. Marshall High School. Dramatic license might have been taken in the movie to make this, the championship game. It was actually a mid-season matchup between T.C. Williams and Marshall, and they just turned it into a major Hollywood state championship game. The Marshall game was the toughest game on T.C. Williams' schedule that year, and the Titans did win on a 4th down, come from behind play at the very end of the game.
Oh.
So
Wow.
the actual state championship was against Andrew Lewis High School, and they beat them 27-0. So not exactly a close one. Bertier gets in a car accident in the movie before the state championship
Yeah,
game.
you're right.
This in real life actually happened after the state championship game, and they had a banquet honoring the team for their undefeated season. After the banquet, Bertier borrowed his mother's new Chevy Camaro and lost control of it, crashed. The movie shows him getting broadsided. That's not what happened. And cause of the accident was actually determined to be mechanical failure in the engine.
Did he die right away in real life, or was it?
No, so he actually died in a car accident like 10 years later.
Yeah, gotten another one.
Got
He was
another
29.
one. Yeah, got another one.
So-
Died in that one.
Dude, I read, so don't laugh. Okay, I'm dead ass. After his first accident, before he died, the second one, of course, he was in a wheelchair and dominated the Special Olympics.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh,
In
100%.
what sport? Football?
Well, you can't play.
I think he
I know
was
wheelchair.
like shot put champion. I'm pretty
Like,
sure he was like,
dominated.
Well, they have wheelchair basketball. Why can't you do wheelchair football indoor?
How could you? Bitch.
that would be.
I mean, how do you play basketball though?
Yeah, true.
I mean, how is it any harder than
I
basketball?
guess you could do flag.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, they're
You're
not going to
telling me
tackle.
You would.
Dude, imagine 180 tackles like
Then
the.
you get-
You would be a referee for Special Olympics basketball, and you're calling double dribbles.
Yeah,
on-
dude, really.
Carry.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm
Carry.
sure he would. Another one, Cheryl Yost, Coach Yost's daughter, actually died at 34, just some kind of rare heart condition.
Jesus.
Was not the only child portrayed, or she was not an only child like she's portrayed in the movie. She actually had 3 sisters in real life. The oldest one was in college. There was another one that was in a different high school, and the younger sister was only 3 years old in 1970. So Coach Yost was getting in. A lot of spread on that, though. God, a lot of spread. Can you imagine having a kid in college, kid in high school, and then some football savant daughter at like elementary school? Was she
Dude.
9?
I don't even have one yet.
Wait, he had 3 kids?
Sounds exactly. He had 4 kids. One in college, one who was 3 years old. It's like my dad.
You're one away.
Um,
One
Film-
behind.
the film omits that in 1979, Boone was relieved from his coaching duties by a principal who felt change was needed. There was some allegations of abuse, but they were never substantiated. He was actually just fired because the new principal came in, but he continued to work as school's head of the physical education department.
Classic. I can
Classic
totally see
football
that.
guy.
Line up.
Classic football guy. They're always PE coaches. All right.
Always.
So we did this with the last movie. Let's go ahead and do our personal rating out of 10. Kennedy, I'm going to start with you.
I didn't get a chance to watch this start to finish yet, so take mine with a grain of salt. I'm going to give it a 7.4.
Colin?
I will give it a
I mean, don't think too long.
8.1.
Yeah.
If the gameplay was right, it could have been a 10.
Well, yeah, I got to agree with that. So I'll double down. I'll do an 8.4 on it for the same reason. I love this movie. Denzel makes it for me. I love the messaging. I love the flow of everything. The actors do a great job in this. I love this fucking movie, boys. It's a great flick. So we'll average that out. I guess is probably in the high 7s because of that, or maybe an 8 flat.
Yeah, 8 flat.
But that's our episode, boys. So that's our Remember the Titans episode.
Left side.
Strong side.
Next time on the Night Shift, we're tackling Inglorious Bastards. Get ready, follow, subscribe, leave a review. Night Shift out.